What's up, Cowboys Nation? Before we jump into one of the biggest and most exciting stories of the offseason, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button right now to support the channel. The Dallas Cowboys are on a mission to grow, evolve, and finally deliver the kind of results this fan base deserves. Every move this team is making is about getting better, not just for the sake of change, but to win, to compete, to bring a title back to Dallas. And today, we've got a golden opportunity to talk about how they can shock the world in Week 1. When the NFL officially dropped the 2025 schedule, a lot of Cowboys fans probably circled Week 1 and sighed. Thursday, September 4th, the season opener. And where are we headed? Right into the heart of enemy territory, at Philadelphia. Against the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles in prime time. Yeah, not exactly a soft landing to kick off the new year. Vegas agrees. The Cowboys opened up as 6.5-point underdogs, nearly a touchdown, according to the early line. It's one of the biggest spreads of Week 1, and when you consider everything that's gone down over the last 18 months, the playoff disappointment, the coaching changes, the locker room questions, you can kind of understand why people are already counting Dallas out. But here's the twist. This might actually be the best time to face the Eagles, and if you've been sleeping on this team, wake up. Let's be real. You have to play the Eagles twice anyway. There's no avoiding them, so why not face them now? Week 1, the weather's still warm. The crowd in Philly is fired up, yes, but early season emotional. Not bitter cold and brutal like December football at the Link, and more importantly, they don't know what this Dallas team is yet. Let's go down the checklist. New head coach, new defensive coordinator, new weapons on offense, a quarterback. With something to prove, a locker room culture that's undergone a major reset. The Eagles will be raising their championship banner that night. They'll be celebrating, but celebrations bring distractions. That's not speculation, it's NFL history. Week 1 banner games are dangerous for defending champs, and divisional games are always tight, regardless of the teams. Except this time, the Eagles don't really know what the Cowboys are going to bring. This is a brand new operation, and that gives Dallas the advantage of surprise, something they haven't had in years. Let's talk Dak. There's a lot of noise out there right now. Talk of contract pressure, playoff shortcomings, leadership questions. You've heard it, I've heard it. But what gets lost in all that? Dak owns the Eagles. When Dak Prescott is on the field, the Cowboys are 9-4 against Philadelphia. That's not a fluke, that's a trend. And it's not built on luck. It's built on preparation, poise, and straight-up command of the offense. Say what you want about Dak, but this guy shows up for divisional games. He knows this rivalry. He's played in Philly, he's won in Philly. And you better believe, with his back against the wall and his name constantly in headlines, he's circling this game as a chance to remind people who he is. If the offensive line holds up, and we'll be watching that closely in training camp, Dak will have the weapons to stretch this Eagles secondary and go punch for punch with Jalen Hurts. Now let's talk about the biggest wild card on the roster, George Pickens. When Dallas traded for Pickens, reactions were all over the place. Some fans were hyped, others questioned the risk. Why bring in a guy who had issues in Pittsburgh? Why not just draft someone? Well, Sports Illustrated's Andrew Brandt, a former NFL executive, recently said something that Cowboys Nation needs to hear. In his words, Dallas stole a round in the trade. Here's why. The Cowboys gave up a third-round pick in 2026 and a fifth in 2027 and got back Pickens plus a sixth-rounder in 2027. That means they essentially got a first-round talent. Because let's be honest, that's what Pickens is when he's locked in. For the value of a 2025 fourth-rounder. That's a steal, and let's not forget, Pickens is still on his rookie contract. No cap-hit headaches, no extension needed yet. He's in a prove-it year playing for a payday and lined up next to one of the best wide receivers in the game, in CeeDee Lamb. As the Athletic's Ted Nguyen and Saad Yousuf pointed out, Pickens could be the perfect complement to Lamb, especially as a deep threat. This could unlock a vertical passing game we haven't seen in Dallas since the peak of Dez Bryant and Tony Romo. If Pickens clicks, this entire offense changes overnight. You want to talk about changes? Mike Zimmer is back. And Cowboys fans, you already know when Zimmer's running a defense, it gets tough, it gets disciplined, and it gets violent. That's exactly what this defense needs. Last year's unit was flashy but inconsistent. They dominate in one half and collapse the next. This year, the message is clear. No more excuses. Stop the run. Get off the field. Play physical, and there's talent here. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Trevon Diggs when healthy, and young guys like Mazi Smith and Ota'S who are expected to take big steps forward. Zimmer has the tools, but the question is, can he get them to click in time? There's no soft opening. Here, the Eagles will test this defense from the first snap. Dual threat QB, elite receivers, and one of the best O-lines in football. It's trial by fire, but also the fastest way to find out what this group is made of. Here's the thing a lot of people aren't thinking about. This game has real implications beyond just week one. If Dallas pulls off the upset, suddenly the entire conversation around the NFC East changes. The Eagles lose their home opener in front of a national audience on banner night. Dallas grabs an early tiebreaker. The media shifts. The locker room belief skyrockets. It's the kind of win that changes momentum and seasons. If they lose, it depends how they lose. A hard-fought game that shows growth and chemistry isn't the end of the world. But a blowout, a messy offensive performance, then the critics come right back. The pressure builds. The locker room questions start again. So, yes, week one is huge. Brian Schottenheimer, remember the name? Because come September, you'll be hearing it everywhere. He's not just the new head coach of the Cowboys. He's the guy tasked with reviving one of the most iconic franchises in all of sports after a frustrating 7-10 campaign in 2024. Now, Cowboys fans know better than anyone. This team has had its fair share of coaching transitions. But what makes this one different is the context. This is a team that has talent, has leadership, and just needs a new direction. Schottenheimer was brought in to provide that, and the challenge doesn't get any bigger than this. Open the season in Philly, on the road, in primetime, against the champs. Schottenheimer chasing rare company. If Schottenheimer pulls off a win, in week one he'd become just the fourth head coach in Cowboys history to win his debut. Let's take a quick look at the company he'd join, Barry Switzer, 1994. The legendary Oklahoma Sooners coach stepped in after Jimmy Johnson and opened the 1994 season with a 26-9 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. That Cowboys team was still loaded with the triplets, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin, and the defense held strong all game. Switzer's debut wasn't just a win, it was a statement. He'd go on to win a Super Bowl in his second year, Chan Gailey, 1998. An unconventional hire at the time, Gailey opened with a 38-10 blowout over the Arizona Cardinals. Aikman threw 3 touchdowns, the defense forced turnovers, and hopes were sky high. Gailey's time in Dallas was short, but his debut set the tone for a competitive year. Wade Phillips, 2007, Wade came in and let Tony Romo cook. In a 45-35 shootout over the Giants, Romo threw 4 touchdowns, Terrell Owens caught 2 of them, and the offense looked explosive. Phillips guided that team to a 13-3 record and the team's first playoff win in over a decade. Now it's Schottenheimer's turn, a brutal draw, or the perfect opportunity. Let's not sugarcoat it. The Eagles are no joke. They're coming off a dominant 40-22 win over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They swept Dallas last season, outscoring the Cowboys 75-13 across 2 games. That's not just a rivalry loss, that's a wake-up call. But here's the twist. Maybe, just maybe, week one is the perfect time to catch Philly. Think about it. They'll be raising the Super Bowl banner. The crowd will be emotional, not yet. Hostile. The pressure is all on them, and they have no idea what Schottenheimer's Cowboys are going to look like. This is a brand new team. New schemes, new faces, new attitude, and the one thing the Eagles won't be able to prepare for? Surprise. Weapons. Ready. The offense has new life, for all the criticism the Cowboys front office has taken. And let's be honest, some of it has. been deserved, they've put some serious talent around Dak Prescott. First, let's talk George Pickens. The controversial wide receiver acquired from Pittsburgh might be the biggest X factor in the NFC East this season. He's tall, fast, aggressive, and playing for a new contract. In other words, he's dangerous. Add in rookie running back Jaden Blue, a speedster with serious burst who's expected to take pressure off the passing game, and you've got a brand new wrinkle in this offense. And don't forget the core, CeeDee Lamb, still one of the most explosive receivers in the league. Jake Ferguson, a rising star at tight end. Brandon Cooks and Jalen Tolbert, veterans who know their roles and can make clutch plays. Schottenheimer is known for creativity. If he gets this group clicking early, we could see an entirely new look offense in Week 1, Prescott's moment, redemption in the spotlight. There's no getting around it. 2024 was rough for Dak Prescott injuries. Inconsistency, and in those 2 losses to the Eagles, total collapse. But now, Dak is healthy. He's got help, and he's got a coach who believes in building the offense around his strengths, quick reads, play action, and stretching the field when the defense hesitates. The stage is set for a massive comeback, and what better way to kick it off than by beating your biggest rival in their house on national TV to start the season? A rare opener in a historic rivalry. Believe it or not, this is only the second time the Cowboys and Eagles have met in Week 1 in NFL history. The first, the infamous pickle juice game in 2000. The Eagles destroyed Dallas 41-14 at Texas Stadium in one of the most embarrassing openers in franchise history. Philly players drank pickle juice on the sidelines to stay hydrated. Deuce Staley ran wild, and the Cowboys looked completely unprepared. That loss set the tone for a miserable 5-11 season. But now, this is a chance at redemption, not just for that game, but for all the recent frustrations in this rivalry, the 2024 sweep, the trash talk, the doubts. Revenge is best served cold, or in this case, under the lights at Lincoln Financial. Feel that this team is coming into 2025 with something to prove. They've got a new identity. They made a bold trade. They've got veterans with chips on their shoulders and young talent waiting to break out. And in Week 1, they get the ultimate test against the defending champs, on the road, in front of the entire football world. It's high stakes. It's hostile. It's exactly what this team needs. Because if the Cowboys go into Philly and handle business, they won't just win a game. They'll win back belief. And I want to know what you think. Do you believe Dallas can pull off the upset? Is George Pickens the missing piece this offense needed? Will Zimmer's defense hold up in the trenches? And is this the year Dak Prescott finally silences all the doubters? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Let's talk about it. And hey, if you're still watching, you're a real one. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of Cowboys coverage as we count down to kickoff. This is going to be a wild ride, and it starts September 4th. Let's shock the world. Let's go, Cowboys.